What's going on, everyone? Forex Fargo checking in. This is your Forex Fargo weekly webinar from November 15th through November 20th, 2020. All right, just, starting off, I know that it's always basic, but with some helpful tips, people do need to remember to take their profits and use their stop loss always. A lot of us get concerned with making sure that we're catching pips. I don't care if it's 1-to-1, if your fucking stop loss is 10 pips, and you're scalping for like 10 to 20 pips. That's a 1-to-1, a 2-to-1 risk reward. Make sure that you're taking your profits. If you're comfortable, if you have already won a couple trades, throughout the day, there's no need for you to trade more than that, right? So things that I do to help prevent me and, help me in the long run, I try to take 2 to 3 trades a day, which is a maximum of 10 to 15 trades per week. Last week, I went over, how I help you guys develop a trading plan for the week. I'm not going to do that this week. We're just going to go, dive right into it with the pairs that are going to be analyzed. So pairs I'm analyzing this week, the same old AU, AJ, GJ, EU, GU, GA, EA, and then gold, right? So minimizing this, let's drop down right here. We are on a weekly time frame. All right. So just understanding what it is that, we're noticing. All right. So week of election, we saw this impulsive move, but it wasn't impulsive. We understood that it was going to happen. Right. So this was an impulsive move for 270 pips or so. Right. Understanding how this previous weekly candle, the last weekly candle closed. It closes a doji. However, I'm going to monitor, price action. I'm waiting to see if we can push back to the upside. I'll take a look at the dollar index as well, to kind of gauge an idea of where strength is when we take a look at EU later on in this webinar. But for the most part, I'm a little bit neutral on AU. As you guys can see, I caught sells to the bottom. I probably caught it for like 40 pips or so, just following along with my analysis. Then I actually entered a trade back down here. I got stopped out because I tried to have like a super tight stop loss. But essentially what I will be waiting for, once again, if you guys can see, right, there's no need for me to mark up this chart on AU. What I will do is just add a long position, just understanding that, price could either, respect this as our, resistance level, or, keep respecting this as our intraday demand level and keep collecting orders within this, yellow zone, and then push back to the upside, right? So part of trading, you don't always have to be right. You just need to make sure you understand what you're looking at, right? So what we'll try to do is we'll see how price is reacting to this, right? Even if we catch this back up to the 104 area, let's just look at the higher time frame and understand why that move could potentially happen. So once again, dropping back down to the weekly, if we're able to, respect this zone on the higher time frame, just mirroring left, we have all of these candles over here. So just looking at this big ass green candle right here, that's 93 pips, right? So, you could at least take it for 93 pips. Like I said, I'm only going to enter the trade when we do have, some structure being shown on this higher time frame. So this is what I'm looking at for AU. It may or may not seem like a simple analysis, but once again, my trading over the last year and a half has gotten way easier. There's no trend lines. I could draw a trend line right here and say, literally, like I could draw a trend line like this. When the break of this trend line, we should be good. I'll keep that there for you guys for the, extra confluence, but I don't necessarily need that. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just not my preferred style of trading at the moment. Now let's go ahead and move on to GJ, right? So GJ was a fucking bag. If you guys have been trading GJ, by all means, you should still continuously trade GJ. And the reason I say that is because if we take a look at this, right? So if you guys are not in the webinar, if you're just watching this live, please join the webinar. I've actually put the link in my bio. Let me just make sure that other people are not trying to join real quick. 1 second, please. So I actually have 6 people waiting. All right, so I'm admitting all of these people right now. All right, so all of these people should be able to be in right now. Now let's get back to what we were speaking about. All right, so once again, I always look at things from the macro time frame. So let's look at what we see, right? So before we even look at this, previous to this zone that I have marked around, please mute your microphone, bro. This zone that I have marked around this 138 level, if we can see just looking back, this actually was being held as our supply level or resistance level on the weekly time frame, right? So from October 5th, October 12th, we had some rejections, never a strong weekly candle close. And then right here, what we happened last week, we had literally in the 1 weekly candle on GJ, no cap, this was a 400 fucking pip move, a 400 pip move. I'm mad as shit that I wasn't trading it like that. However, once again, if we are to, you know, build our confluences up, right? So now this supply zone has now turned our demand zone, right? This is now going to be held as support. The reason why, we go down to the daily time frame, right? We have this beautiful candle closure above this. This was November 9th, right? Price moving. You know, obviously you need to collect some orders. But right now what we're having, price is looking like on a daily that is closing as a spinning top, right? Now what I'd like to do, I'd like to see if I can enter within this zone, all right? So just looking at it from the higher time frame, it just makes sense to me. And I actually have a signal for you guys right here. You're lucky. This is actually a signal that, once again, when you trade, all right, I suggest everyone, if I actually had posted this, yes, last week, and I didn't just do this, this was already here, regardless if you believe me or not. I've had a private group, and they can even attest to you guys that we probably caught these GJ buys early in the fucking year, which is why I'm confident that this is probably still going to push up, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to wait to see how price is respecting the zone, all right? Shout out to Eddie Jackson, because I've been saying eclipse. This is actually ellipse. So we'll be waiting to see how price is reacting within our ellipse. My ellipse, I use them as my preferred, you know, actions and style of trading. If we were to do this, I could do a Fibonacci from, you know, swing low to swing high. This is probably somewhere just to do it for shits and giggles. This is why I don't need it. I've been looking at the charts long enough where I can kind of gauge an idea. It's probably at the 61 level or 38. Fib retracement, you know, low to high. So it's at the 50, right? So 50, 61, doesn't matter. It's fucking, you know, it's respecting this level that I have. I don't even care about the fibs. But anyways, what we'll be looking at, I'll take a screenshot. So you guys' job is to kind of monitor, wait to see if you guys are getting more reactions, rejections. Price could wick all the way back down, so you understand, to, you know, the 137, 500 or so, right? So actually, let's move this down here, right here. So maybe we can get, you know, premium buys. So what I'll do is I'll alter this real quick. You can buy at that price when we have the break above the structure, or what we can do, we can set us a buy limit, right? So we can do buy. I'm in Dubai. We can do a buy limit at 137. You know, what is this at 137? You know, let's call it 650, right? Obviously, you know, you can get the optimal one, but the point is to just make sure that you're in the trade. You know, our stop loss 137, 350, right? So you can do either or. You guys should be blessed with that. I'm actually going to just make this easier for myself. I'm going to publish this real quick, take a screenshot and publish this so everyone can understand, you know, why the move happened. If you guys aren't taking the trades, by all means, at least try to learn something from me, right? So potential GBP, JPY potential. Please refer to chart. Right, we'll do this. Another thing you guys should do, if you don't know how to use, if I hope you can still see this on my screen. If you don't know how to use trading view, you know, by all means, I use mine for free. I stopped paying it. I was like, fuck it, it doesn't make any sense. But you guys can still use the charts. Make sure that, you know, if you're trying to start out and, you know, you're trying to document your trades, I do the webinars because they help me. But I also do, you know, in the past, I posted, you know, my analysis on TradingView to just see if we can follow along with it, right? So moving on with this, we're going to go to AJ. All right, so looking at AJ, honestly, you know, no cap, this is actually something I have from fucking last week. It's a trade that I did not take. It's like a 159 pip move that I was expecting. However, if we look at this from the macro time frame, once again, you know, like I always tell people, I always have signals right here. So let's see which one of these is close. Price is at 72. All right, so we can do one of these right here. Move all that other shit. So we'll do one of these. So yes, looking at this from a weekly time frame, all right, we can see that, you know, we're super bullish. Obviously, you know, we do have all of this movement on the weekly candle to the upside in terms of the wick. So we still have a 99 pip wick to the upside if we are going to remain bullish. Looking at this from a daily time frame, I'd actually like to enter the trade if we can get closer to around this, 76 150. Be cautious though, because if we break above this 76 150 area, we still could probably kind of this is like a 4 hour kind of like resistance right here. So I'd actually like to see us break above 76 450 before I actually take a buy. But I'm just gonna mark this so we can understand what it is that I am trying to look at. And there's nothing wrong. I do this week in and week out because there's nothing wrong with being wrong or right. What you need to do is understand what is happening and how you can improve, right? So I've noticed that sometimes I like to enter trades early and without the proper confluence, right? Um, so now what I'm trying to do is make sure that I can eliminate some of the stupid trades. All right. If we can eliminate some of the stupid trades, then we can have better trades. We also have less fucking losses as well, right? And sometimes I don't care about the losses, but if we're going to be honest, everyone cares about losses, right? No one wants to enter a fucking trade and get stopped out. That's just the worst. All right, so this is what I'll be looking at for AJ. Once again, let me draw this ellipse. I'm actually looking to see, if price respects that. I actually have two signals. That could be a buy stop. There's another one that I have somewhere floating. 1 second, please. And I hope everyone is having a great fourth quarter, regardless. I don't care if you're making money, if you're not making money. By all means, just continuously go at it. All right, keep grinding. So we actually got two signals right there. So we got a buy stop, and then we have a buy signal when price just respects that and breaks it on the higher time frame. Some people, you guys may follow me and be like, wow, this guy's not educated. He doesn't talk about fucking all of this shit. I'll make a comparison. I used to be in Raj's streams and everything like that, right? So, one thing I will tell you is that his streams help me understand a little bit about, support and resistance, nothing more than that. However, at the end of the day, I was able to ask questions. So if you guys are still stuck, I would encourage you to, join. At this point, I was only doing it when there was like 400 or 500 people, but now there's like thousands of people now. But still, try to see if you can ask questions and ask Uncle Ted. Uncle Ted is fucking smart as hell. Potential buys. Please refer. Yes, Uncle Ted is smart as fuck. He follows me. I ask him questions from time to time if I'm lost on stuff. If I post a question, if I post something, a lot of times he'll answer it as well. So these are trades that we shall be looking at. Moving on. So we're gonna go to EU, right? So EU, this is actually something that I've been waiting for. Fucking hold on. I understand. Someone made a comment. What sucks about Roger stream is that they only catch about 10 pips or so. And I understand people get all fucking, people get all caught up in, the amount of pips and the fact that, oh my God, I just caught a win and I fucking put a $10 lot size on 10 pips and I made like a rack or some shit. Like, come on, stop it. That's not impressive to me. I don't want to get into that though. I'm still looking at this to the upside. As you guys can see, I actually, called this sell right here from the zone. Didn't take this trade. It was 126 fucking pips. And just look at my chart overall, right? So I keep these up here because I'm usually right. So we took a buy from around here, anticipated a sell. This long position didn't work out all the way, right? Price was still respecting the zone, which is why I have it marked right here, right? But when price came all the way back down to this 116 level, you know that this is a triple bottom. I think I spoke about that before. That was a nice fucking push, right? And then election, you know what I mean? Like you already knew that it was going to happen. We were just waiting for the opportunity. Now what we're going to see is since the trend is already, obviously we're super bullish the last couple weeks. I don't know what's going to happen on EU. What I am going to say is I'm actually going to see what happens when price gets to this level right here. All right. So when we get back to this 11900 area, I'm not going to chase the trade. If you guys are already in buys, clearly it's probably going to push back up because you can see that this may look like an M pattern, right? So let me draw what could potentially happen with the brush. So looking at this, where I'm not going to enter the trade, it looks like you're going to have something like that, meaning that there's going to be another strong resistance level up here. So I don't want to get caught in that. I'm not interested in catching, what is this? I mean, I probably could, but 50 pips, like I'm good. I'd rather catch the impulse on the way back down. All right. So just understanding on EU, I'm not looking at anything right now, but just looking at maybe a potential sell from that area. Another thing as well, so I do have my path marked, right? So, we had you guys see this from this level? Let me drop it down to a 4 hour, maybe you can see it better, right? So we had this break, this retest, now price push back down, right? Which is what I was expecting since you have this analysis right here. Now, what I'm gonna, like I said, I'm monitoring if we have a price break above this 118,350, then absolutely price will be able to move back to the upside. However, I'm not looking for that. So just letting you guys know, I know what I see on the chart. I understand it's bullish, right? I understand that this is a level of resistance. I understand that when price is trending, you don't want to counter trend trade, which is why I'm not jumping in any one of these. I'm just letting you guys know what it is that I see, right? So fuck EU. Let's move on to GU, right? So moving on GU, what we have here, once again, super impulsive, right? But if we were to just look at this from, any time frame, you can just see that price literally has just been moving. No lower lows, lower highs have been taken out. Not going to get into that, but just understanding, how the price moves in markets. So right now we've closed at this doji candle. Obviously, this on a weekly time frame. What we're looking at on a daily time frame, we had a nice daily candle close. I might actually see if I could ride this 132 wave back up to this 133 or so. Just keeping in mind that, let me see, 4 hour. Yeah, no, I just keep in mind that we are kind of at our 2020 high. So I actually would wait to enter this trade. I actually am gonna wait to enter a lot of these trades, and this is why. So I'll tell you guys this much, right? A lot of moves happen on the first week of the fucking month, and then on the last week of the month. The same thing where, like, if you guys are trading throughout the middle of the week, Wednesdays and Thursdays are usually the best weeks. I spoke about this, understanding that when you have super impulsive moves, okay, now that we're closing out fourth quarter and everyone is trying to, get their money because of the elections and, before Trump switches office or whatever the fuck's going on, right? People are being taken advantage of and they're not understanding what's going on. So when you plan your trade accordingly, you're able to, whether you lose or win, you're able to have a better peace of mind because you know that you didn't gamble, right? You're like, oh, I saw this, but this happened, make sure that you understand what's going on. On GU, I'm not even going to say, what it is that I'm looking at because I'm not saying I'm a little bit confused, but I would probably wait to see if I can catch this back to the upside, maybe this 200 pips like this, back to the upside. So if that happens, it happens. If it doesn't happen, I won't feel any type of way, but I'm only going to wait to see if it happens when price respects, where I want to right there, right? And this is how to plan ahead and plan accordingly. Moving on GA, right? So this is actually a fucking beautiful trade. I actually sent this last week, just understanding that.
It's now live Zoom.
I'm sorry. Can you mute your microphone, please? Thank you. So yes, on GU, I was understanding and I explained to everyone that, we probably were going to see some retracement moves last week, right? So the fact that we saw a few of these retracement moves happen is actually a good thing. If you guys entered this trade, let me see, last week, yeah. You guys entered this trade somewhere last week, look at this. Price goes up to the zone, comes back down, and then you have that nice push up, and this is a 156 pip move. What I'm actually looking at now is waiting to see if we can catch sells back to the downside. I don't know if price is going to continuously push up. So what I will do is do one of these and put a short position up there because these are, last week's previous highs. So one thing I want to speak about to you all is that when I enter some of these trades, right? If I'm okay, because I do the webinar, if price is flirting around 182, 256 or so, and I just happen to open up my chart, if price hasn't closed above that, then I'm understanding that price is potentially pushing to, like I say, a weekly level, a weekly low, a weekly high, a daily low, or a daily high before continuing this original trend. So the original trend on this overall GU or GA move is going to be bearish, right? However, we need to see if the most recent, a weekly high gets taken out or if it gets respected, right? So this is kind of how I trade. It makes it easier for me, and yeah, so this is kind of what I'll be looking at on GA. I may have a sell signal somewhere. Let me see. There we go. We'll use that sell stop right there. Once again, I show you guys this because this is, you know, I want some of you guys to be better than me. I'm not the best. What I do though is I know what I'm looking at and I understand what trade I want to take, right? So I made a post on my page like a year ago. It was just like understanding what type of trade you're taking is actually one of the most important. Are you trading with the trend? Is it a counter trend trade, you know, so on and so forth, right? So are we looking more of a sell limit at 182, 245, right? Or at 245, we'll put our stop loss at 182, 525. We'll put at 500. Keep it a little tight, right? So we're looking at something like this on the GA. I still haven't even hit this blunt yet. I'm surprised. All right. So last week, unfortunately, we didn't see the type of correction move that I was looking for on EA, and that happens. You know what I mean? There's nothing to fucking fight about, right? I'm still gonna keep that analysis there, so I know that I was wrong, right? But as we can see, we're still looking for these sells on the downside, right? So now what we're gonna do, we're gonna kind of keep this. Actually, prices has moved past that. So what we'll do is we'll wait to see as if we can catch another short position, maybe at this 160. Where's price at right now? Price is at 162,700. So maybe we'll get another push back up to this 163 level. If we don't, we may get stopped out on this trade. But like I tell you guys, if I get stopped out one time, I got no problem re-entering the trade. All right. So if I'm looking at this as 100 and let me explain something. This is 130, 100. Just use 120 to make it easy. Okay. So if I get stopped out of a trade and my stop loss is usually 30 pips, right? So let's adjust this, right? So if I enter this trade, I get stopped out at 30 pips. I just lost 30 fucking pips. You know what I mean? Whether it's $30 or $300, let's just use $30 because a lot of you guys see me with the micro accounts, right? So I lose $30 on one trade. I enter the trade where I get stopped out, right? So now once my position is up fucking 60 pips, I've made my money back, right? And I've just made my money back, not broken even. However, when price gets to the 120 pips, right? I've still profited $90 fucking dollars, right? Still profited $90, and that's still a 3-to-1 risk reward when my original risk reward is supposed to be 4-to-1. If that made sense to any of you guys, I'm just not the best with numbers, but it made sense in my head, right? So, regardless, this is why I prefer swing trading, because if I'm scalping and I'm getting stopped out 5, 7, 10 pips, you know what I mean? Like, I know what that feels like to want to get your money back right away. And, that's when trading becomes more of a gambling habit and, you're not using the analytical part of your brain for it, right? So just wanted to leave that with you all because I've been there and I've done it, all right? Let's look at this, gold. All right, so this was actually my gold signal from last week. I said we'll re-enter if you get stopped out, right? Gold actually pushed all the way back up to, TP4, which is probably 220-something pips. If you guys did not take this, just understanding, I'm not going to go over, what I spoke about, but, you should actually watch that 3-minute video that I put on YouTube. So because we actually had this nice, stupid-ass, bearish candle, I'm still long on gold. I'm long right here. Do I know where there's going to be a position to enter? Not necessarily. All right. So what? Oh, this is a nice hammer right here. What I would wait for people to do is just wait for like a day or two, see what happens. I think this 1885 level, I'd call this like a nice intraday. I'd call this a beautiful intraday daily level, right? This 1885 level right here, right? Intraday level. Then we'll just wait to see how price respects that. I'm not going to add another buy signal simply because it's going to confuse people. This is just my original buy that I'm in, so I will keep that there. And actually, last week I spoke about, this price getting exhausted on this monthly resistance level. So I was actually right. This was actually, what is this, a 347 pip move with a 40 pip stop loss, so like 1 to 9 risk reward. Right, and look at this happen in this happened in 4 hours. In 4 hours, gold died fucking 790 pips, fam. So like, you know, I'm not always right, but when I'm right, you guys see that like sometimes they fucking blow right past it. If you guys look at this right here, I'm actually mad as fuck. I knew that this was gonna happen since look at this. This was a 825 pip move or some shit like that. You know what I mean? And you know, because I was so caught up catching the other ones and gold moves super fucking volatile. You know, when you look back and you see that you missed a trade, but you're able to, you know, catch it for 100, 200, 300 pips or whatever, be content with it. You know what I mean? There's no need for you to fret about it, right? Now, because we had all this impulse, what we're looking for is the same fucking impulse on the left side to reflect on the right side, all right? So I believe this is going to be the end of the webinar. Once again, just, you know, going back to it, the pairs analyzed real quick. 1 second. The pairs that we analyzed today were AU, AJ, GJ, EU, GU, you know, GA, EA, and gold, right? And I did this whole entire webinar without smoking the fucking blunt because I'm still kind of hungover. But let's make sure that we catch these pips. I will upload this, and Forex Fargo checking out. Thank you guys for, you know, being a part of this. Thank you guys to everyone that is actually watching this live. That actually means a lot to me. So I will be recording this, and I'll be ending this. And yeah, everyone take care. Fargo out, baby.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Take care.